And we are live. We should be live, guys. Welcome. We're just waiting on Briggs from All Day Anime to set up some technical stuff. But while he does that, we are going to go live so that we're not too late for you guys. And this is going to be a live discussion, Code Geass Season 3 Theories live discussion. Joining me is my brother Gozen. He's already here. Say hi,
What
Gozen.
up, guys? What up, guys? It's Gozen. Check out my channel, Anime Uproar.
Yeah, thanks for being a guest on my channel, Gozen. I appreciate that, bro. No, but yeah, Gozen is my brother, and we run this channel together. So we're a team. We're a team of awesome dudes.
We are a team of heterosexual brothers.
Woo!
Mm.
All right.
I'm excited about today's discussion.
Yeah, looking forward to this. I don't know if anyone's gonna show up, guys. Like I had this thing. It's like, let's schedule it for Christmas Eve during the day. Everyone's gonna be off work, and then everyone's like, yeah, man, I'm too busy. So I don't know if anyone's gonna show up, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm at my girlfriend's house for Christmas Eve, and I still made it. So people should show up.
Yeah, still waiting on Briggs to figure out some technical difficulties. So goes and talk while we figure this out. Say something entertaining.
Yeah, so I don't know what interesting stuff could happen next season. I do feel like that is one of the best endings in anime. We got a dog on screen here. This is Maggie. And I feel like Code Geass is one of the best endings compared to Death Note. It's just like, doesn't even compare. Death Note, in my opinion, I mean, Briggs, I know you said the Death Note ending was good, but at the same time, like, I didn't feel satisfied. But with Code Geass, I felt satisfied. So I'm wondering what's going to happen in the new season. How could they beat the old one?
Is he here?
He's here, yeah.
Nothing wants to cooperate today, unfortunately. Like I left the hangout to rejoin, and I was going to rejoin to see if it would work, and then I couldn't even.
Yeah, for some reason.
So we're live, right?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
For some reason, it's lagging a bit on your end, Briggs. So let's see if that will figure itself out. I just want to say what up to some peeps in the chat. We got Creep Helen, Dark Flame 786. What's up, buddy? He's got a Lelouch. He's got a Lelouch profile pic, so you know he's serious about this. We got Fion Icarus. Hey, what's up, Fion or Flown Icarus? We have Sailor Kerberos. What is up? Revan Alpha, aka Halo Watcher. What's up, my friend? So yeah, we have some people in here, and that's cool. So yeah, I can't wait to get started for this discussion. Guys in the chat, you can start bringing your theories in whenever you'd like. And but before that, I think what we'll start. So like to explain to everybody, just
God,
stop wrestling that dog, Gozen. This is a serious business.
Tara thought it would be funny to put the dog on me while we were filming, so it backfired a bit.
We're professionals here. Come on.
Sorry about that. Yeah, but I saw in the chat who's the third guy. It's Gozen, the other half of Anime Uproar. Because I'm guessing everyone knows who Briggs is.
Yeah.
Because Briggs the shit.
The other guy that got attacked by a dog, that's my brother. He runs the channel with me, Anime Uproar. He hasn't been showing up lately on camera because he's had school stuff, so he's been busy, but he's been helping me with editing and stuff like that. So we are both Anime Uproar. I'm Animac, he's Gozen. And yeah, I'm gonna pressure him to start doing more videos on the channel.
Forget schoolwork, man. Just give up.
Yeah, otherwise I'll be the only one with all that sleep.
Like a month off or some time off.
Yeah, kind of like I have some late assignments that I haven't done yet, just because it's been so busy with like I'm in teachers college, so there's like placements and stuff. But otherwise, yeah, mostly I'm gonna be free, and yeah, I'm gonna try to put out some videos right now over the Christmas break. So hopefully that's gonna be cool.
Yeah, Briggs, by the way, welcome. All Day Anime, Briggs. Thank you for being here with us, for hanging out. A lot of people were busy with holiday stuff, but you came through. Thank you so much.
Asked if I could.
Sorry?
Here.
Yeah, Briggs, you're cutting off.
Yeah, barely. Yeah, like that's what I barely made it. Like nothing is cooperating. Can you?
Yeah, I don't know if
Is
it
it
might
working
be.
now? Honestly,
It's
like
working
it's
now,
my
it's working
internet
now.
right now.
It's
I
good
think
right
it's my
now.
internet.
And it's
Because
dead.
nothing was even
Okay.
loading. Creep Ellen asked if I cut my hair. I am just wearing. Is it horrible?
It's like you're good now, but like it's it's cutting off.
Yeah, so maybe try to
Fuck.
disconnect again and reconnect, Briggs. Maybe that would be a good idea.
That's what I'm gonna do. You guys can start.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
start. We'll get into it, and then you pop in whenever you can.
There's
'Cause, yeah,
also
Briggs-
supposedly R3 trailer leaked according to Dark Flame. So we haven't seen that, but that sounds interesting.
Dark Flame, link us if you have a link to the trailer. It might be fan made, I don't know, but if you have any links, throw it
Yeah,
in.
I mean, if any of you guys have some stuff, like send it to us, right? We'll definitely report on it and figure out if it's fake or not.
Yeah, like if you have any news that you find that looks reputable, looks like real deal about Code Geass, the sequel, the movies that are coming out, send it to us. You can send it to us on social media, on Twitter. You can send it to us on Facebook. You can send it to us in the comments. Sometimes when you put links in the comments on YouTube, it gets flagged as spam, but we're definitely going to be keeping an eye out for that. And yeah, so just to kind of brief everybody again on what's going to happen in this live stream, what we're going to do is we're going to discuss Code Geass Season 3 theories, like all the best theories that we think are going to happen, what could happen in Season 3, what are some of the mysteries from the original series that we haven't solved yet. And I'm going to be taking notes about all the best theories that we bring up, and then I'm going to be making a special video on the best theories for Code Geass Season 3, and I'm going to be giving shout-outs to all you wonderful people who are helping us come up with these theories, because I really appreciate you guys coming here, discussing things with us, because I learned so much, because we had 2 Code Geass videos released last week and 3 weeks ago, and they've been doing really well. Great views, great likes, and amazing comments that I can barely keep up with. Like, you guys have been coming up with some things that I didn't even know about. And actually, some of the comments in the first video helped me make the second video, because you brought up some things that I actually didn't think of. So that was awesome. So I was thinking, well, why not create a live stream where we can chat in real time, come up with some cool theories together, and then eventually that will turn into a brand new video that will feature all of these awesome theories. So yeah, that was the whole concept behind this. Briggs, are you back?
I literally just disconnected from the internet and
Oh no,
now.
it's happening. But
Fuck.
I heard that.
Oh Jesus.
All right, like I'm sure it'll start to work. I'm sure it'll.
Honestly, you guys
get
can talk.
smoother.
I'll listen in.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like for
something if I can.
we got Bean Boyeen in the chat. He said he was gonna be here, and he is here, so that's awesome.
good job.
Misty Flare
So-
19, what is up? What is up? And yeah, we have some people in the chat, which is good. I was afraid no one's gonna show up. But okay, so let's start with the theories, if you guys don't mind. Let's start, because the way I was thinking of doing this as a list, kind of like a top 10 or top 5, whatever list, whatever theories that we feel are the best. And I was gonna start with like the first one, the one that would appear the most, so the highest number would be, and of course, this stream has spoilers for Code Geass, guys, just so you know. The first one would be
No.
what? The first one would be the fact that Lelouch is still alive and that he has code. So that is the first theory that I would want to put in there. Now, that's not a controversial theory. It's not a new theory. A lot of people know it. It was controversial back when the anime first finished airing, but now it is, pretty much established. Many people believe it. Some still don't. But the argument is, the first theory I think is that Lelouch has code and he's now immortal. And the reason I want to start with that one is because I feel like that's the basis for everything else. Like, how can Lelouch come back to life? How can he still be alive? It's kind of the basis for everything else. Now, the second thing that I would mention, and it would be like a flow from the first one, would be the fact that some people are saying, and this is something I didn't think of, but some people have told me in the comments that they think that Lelouch could actually have Code and Geass. So the title of the anime, Code Geass, is actually referring to Lelouch, who at the end of R2 gets Code and Geass. And the way this is supposed to work is that because Lelouch did not get his Geass power from Charles, he got it from C2. The argument is that even because Lelouch now got his code from Charles, so he's immortal, but C2 is still alive, that means that their contract is still valid. So that the contract that Lelouch and C2 made for Lelouch to gain his Geass power is still in place because C2, of course, is still alive. So that would allow Lelouch to possess both Code and Geass. And we haven't seen anyone else in the Code Geass universe have both Code and Geass, but that's because Charles, in order to gain Code, he got it from V2, who died. C2 got it from the Nun, who died. So their contracts were over because that's where they got their Geass, and those people died. But because Lelouch has Code from Charles, but C2 is still alive, so their contract could still be valid, he could potentially have both. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on that? And some of you guys in the chat, what do you think about that?
I think it's a cool idea, definitely. And for me, I think when I heard that made a lot of sense because I feel like Code Geass is always playing with you in the titles. Like R2, I definitely think that was a reference to Lelouch getting Code, and then Code Geass, the reference to both having Code and having Geass. And I think like you can't have Code Geass season 3 without Lelouch having a Geass. Like it would be weird because so much of the show is based off of it, working off of the rules of Geass. Just like in Death Note, they're always about the rules of the Death Note and trying to like figure out its intricacies. So I feel like without Geass, it would be hard to have a season 3 unless someone else has a super cool Geass. But I think if Lelouch remains the main character, he has to have Geass.
Briggs, let's try to get you in.
You hear me? No.
Yeah, you're cutting out. It's cutting out. I don't know why.
Oh, fuck. What if I just get rid of my camera? Does that make the audio better?
It's working right now, yeah.
Look at a picture of Nijima then, I guess.
Yeah, let's try like this, and then yeah. So go ahead and get your two cents.
You were saying like, I think that we're gonna be coming across like, because even season 2 compared to season 1.
Yeah, Briggs, you're cutting out again. You're cutting out again. I don't know. Maybe try again to reconnect because.
All right, yeah, you guys go ahead.
Yeah, try again to reconnect. Like go in and out because yeah, we would definitely want to get you in here, and it's just unfortunately like your connection just keeps like being good and then cutting out and then being good, which is weird.
Because like we've done multiple.
Yeah, we've done multiple, and it's never been like this. So yeah, it must be something on your end. Ladiga says hi. Hey, buddy. Happy Christmas Eve to you too, and Merry Christmas to everyone who's celebrating now. So we got Killer and a bunch of numbers saying that yes.
It is leaked for the 10th anniversary event. Cool, and we got a link here. I don't know, Animac, you think you can follow it right now or no?
Why don't you talk and I'll try to open the trailer.
All right, yeah, and Code Geass, I mean, it's definitely one of my favorite animes, and there's a lot of people that are hating on it right now just because it does seem like a cash grab. But I feel like it, let's be positive. It is one of the best animes ever. So if we're gonna have like consistent writers, consistent animation, probably better animation, I look forward to seeing how it's gonna advance because during the time, like even now, it's some of the most beautiful animation I've ever seen. So that's like I can't wait for those visuals. And as long as it has solid fan service, I'm sure none of us will be disappointed.
Solid fan service. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a
Colin.
good one.
As long as Colin's in it. I mean, I'd be pretty upset if Colin wasn't in Code Geass, to be honest.
Oh, of course. I agree with you 100%. Colin is best waifu of all time.
Yeah, Misty, we should be positive for sure.
Yeah, so we're going to have to get in on this trailer stuff.
Ooh.
When did it leak?
Tyler said that there could be a time skip. Like, do we think there might be a time skip? Like, I think that would be pretty cool, actually. Make it even more mature anime. We'll see. That would be interesting. But it seems so it's so rare that like adults are the main characters in anime. Like it's very rare. It's usually like young adults like Lelouch.
Well, what I've already heard that it's going to be a 3-year time skip. So 3 years after like again, of course, this is all speculation now because they could come back at us and say, "Oh no, actually, it's not a time skip at all," or it's a longer time skip or whatever. Like right now, it's all very preliminary. But what we know so far, what we've heard, is that it could be 3 years. So then, in that case, Lelouch would be in his early 20s at this point. And 3 years, a lot can happen in 3 years. So that's
sure.
a big deal in terms of, how the power dynamic could switch between what happens in what happens after the Zero Requiem, after we are left off at R2, and all the things that could change by the time that we're back in, and the reasons why Lelouch might come back. Now, of course, we're assuming that Lelouch will be the main character, that there's going to be a big problem that only Lelouch could solve, right? That would only make sense. There would be a big challenge,
with help. With help, yes.
Yeah. So let's think about it then. What are some reasons why Lelouch would let's assume that he's pretending he's dead, he's alive, but he's living in secretly, nominally everyone thinks he's dead. Let's think about why he would come back. What would force him? Like, what kind of big challenge would force him to come back? Because as I mentioned in the previous video about speculating what's going to happen in season 3, Lelouch, if he has code, or if he has both Code and Geass, will be very powerful, right? He will be a very powerful person to,
for sure, yeah,
to fight.
Although Geass can only work once, though, on everyone, right?
On a single person, yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of enemy, what kind of opponent could be so great as to draw him out again after everything seems to be solved after the Zero Requiem? What could happen to disturb that peace and force Lelouch to come back? And let's try to make it good. Like, let's hope it's not going to be something ridiculous. Let's hope that the writers know what they're doing. So what could possibly happen to make them to make Lelouch come back? Like, Goes, and what are some of your opinions? And guys in the chat, what are your opinions?
Well, I'm thinking that, is it true that Geass doesn't work on people with code? Is that proven? Because I know C2 was saying that if Lelouch used it on her, it wouldn't work. So, Animac, do you know if that's the case?
What? Sorry?
Do you know if people with code can be affected by the Geass?
No, they cannot.
Yeah, so I think maybe even just someone with code being the enemy would be a good enemy for Lelouch. Or even if they bring in someone back from the beginning who Lelouch already used Geass on, then that could be a way to kind of neutralize his Geass. Although he'll be able to use it in indirect, roundabout ways, he might not necessarily be able to use it on the person. So, and even like, we'll see, because right now I think it is like a mecha show, right? So I'm wondering if they do, like, let's say people from another planet, like, will it stop being a mecha show because like they don't even need mechas, or will they have their own mechas? I'm just wondering how mechas will fit into it, because I don't see mechas not continuing to the next season.
Does my voice work this time? My audio?
Yes. Right now it's working. Yeah.
Blessed. What I was like, I feel like you guys are actually touching on what I was trying to say earlier. How like I think bring in an enemy with like some type of good Geass power, something to like actually bring Lelouch out of hiding. Because I feel like he's satisfied. Like, he created a safe nation, free of Charles, something safe for non-elite to live in.
It's a little too idealistic, but yeah.
It's too idealistic.
Yeah.
I feel like now that something has to come to disturb the peace, essentially, for him to come out of hiding. And like, if he's immortal, like, how can he even have a good fight? So maybe someone with code or some like ridiculous Geass power.
Misty Flare 19 mentioned that maybe Schneisel would come back. Maybe Schneisel would become an enemy again in some way.
Schneisel was always he was always the one who could compete with Lelouch. So
the one who cheats at chess. Like, and
does he cheat?
Yeah, remember the illegal move, the putting his own king in check, like that. Every chess player was like, "What is happening? Like, why are they doing this?" But Schneisel, like. Remember that Lelouch uses his Geass on Schneisel, though.
In what case?
He uses it to force Schneisel to obey everything that Zero says. That's what happens before Zero Requiem.
Yeah, that was like wishing for more wishes. That was was hilarious.
He's like, you have to be loyal to Zero. So, of course, Lelouch being alive, I think it's safe to assume that his Geass power will still work. So then, do you guys think that Schneisel could potentially be a problem if he's obedient to Zero, or do you think that somehow he would break the Geass?
Well, we don't know how long Geasses will last, right? We saw Lelouch testing it in Code Geass Season 2 with that girl writing on the wall of the school and kept putting X's on. And he was testing it. So far, we don't know how long it lasts. But I think there is like a time limit for it. So that could be possible. I think Schneisel would kind of eventually escape just because the time limit would run out. But we haven't discovered that time limit yet.
Tyler Zaeza asks, if Lelouch has a code now, does that mean that he's able to make a contract with someone else? And yeah, I think it does. It means that Lelouch would be able to give Geass power to someone else. And several people have mentioned, actually, that perhaps Suzaku would get Geass power. However, I'm skeptical because if you watch the last few episodes and Suzaku's kind of opinion of Geass, he seems to think it's a huge evil, like a terrible thing for the world, that Geass power is, it's kind of an insult to his honor. He thinks it's evil. So I doubt that, knowing Suzaku's personality, that he would go along with ever accepting a Geass power. I think that he definitely went along with the Zero Requiem, but I don't think that he would accept having a Geass power. Because remember that Lelouch uses his Geass on him to live, and that's one of his biggest things that haunts Suzaku, because he used the Flea to take out the Tokyo settlement, because he was going to sacrifice himself so that he doesn't have to use it in the battle, because he didn't want to kill those people. But then the Geass intervened, and in order to protect himself, he used the Flea and killed all these people. And that's when he really became disillusioned and upset about Geass and the evil power of Geass, like how it can be used for evil. So I personally think that Suzaku would not ever accept Geass power. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, we'll see if there's a way that, I mean, it is a contract, right? And maybe Suzaku will come to the point where he has to accept it because for the greater good kind of thing. And the rivalry between Lelouch and Suzaku was going on throughout the whole show, right? And then in the end, they finally teamed up, and it was really badass. Like, when they teamed up, you knew they were gonna get their way. But it would be Suzaku would definitely be a good match for Lelouch. He always has been. So if it ends up being something like that, maybe, I mean, Lelouch will probably stay a good guy and a good character, but who knows? Maybe he might end up Light, and he might be an anti-hero. He has kind of arguably been an anti-hero so far. But I also saw something cool. Someone mentioned the Geass Chancellor that Orange has. So that should come into play too, right?
I feel like the ending kind of contradicted the anti-hero thing.
Yeah.
He
but,
kind of
but the way he does it, right? Because anti-hero can have good motivation overall.
Yeah.
But
right.
he kills people, right? So that's kind of what makes him an anti-hero, because he's not purely good, but he does bad things to achieve good ends, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, not completely I'm God,
Is my audio good now? Because now I can't hear you guys, but I feel like I could talk fine.
You can't? I can hear you, yeah.
What
about Animac? Am I lagging to you, Animac?
I can hear both of you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear both of you guys.
No, I could. I was just kind of out of the conversation because you guys were lagging now, and I'm it's probably on my end. It's obviously my end, but. So
the Dark Flame was saying in chat that maybe he couldn't hear us, so it might be that his own internet is lagging up. So yeah, Dark Flame, see if maybe it's on your end. Okay, so it works now. Okay, good. Sounds good. By the way, Tyler Zeaza, I got you down, man, because I like your theories. I'm going to definitely shout you out in the video once we make it, because he mentioned the whole Lelouch giving Geass to others, and he also mentioned he wants to see the show go into looking at the origins of Code and Geass. And that's something I talked about in the second video, that I feel like the origins need to be explored, because we know You okay, Briggs? We know that there was an ancient civilization. This is established in the show. An ancient civilization exists that created the thought elevators, which Lelouch uses. I'm sorry, Charles uses to activate the Ragnarok connection. So this is not something Charles creates. It's something that him and V2 discover. And it is clearly technology that's even beyond the world of Code Geass. Even though they're in the future and have mechas, nightmares, and all this kind of stuff, they still don't. They still, these thought elevators are still even beyond that, because Charles can allegedly use it to destroy the entire world. So the thing is, then definitely looking at that origin is fascinating to me, and it seems to me like I mentioned in the second video, that there's an ancient civilization out there, an ancient civilization of Geass users, code users, who built these thought elevators. So I want to know what happened to them. It's like we know very little so far, kind of like the Atlantis myth in our own world. Like, you know, there's the myth that there was like an advanced civilization, that it was destroyed, somehow it disappeared. So we know very little, but definitely I want to see more of that explored. Where does Geass come from? Where does Code come from? Does it come from another planet? Is there more of these descendants of this civilization hiding somewhere in secret? Are they going to make an appearance? All that kind of stuff. What do you guys think?
Right.
That's what I personally think, that like that could be a good route. Like a descendant, if there is one or two left, like they come into play this season and like kind of like throw things off balance in like the nation that Lelouch ended up creating. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, even I'm thinking with the kind of aliens theory. I know every time we say aliens, it sounds crazy. aliens, man. But I mean, with that theory, it would be almost more like Gundam Seed, because I feel like they'd be fighting in space too, you know? So like I've never associated Code Geass up to this point with that kind of like extraterrestrial like conflict. So, but we'll see. I mean, it's definitely a possibility, and Animac's completely right when he says, like, how can you possibly up the ante on Earth? I mean, this guy literally did it all. He ruled the world. So it's like, what else is there to do? So it could be possible, definitely.
Yeah, there was some confusion about. I saw people mentioning in the comments to that video, when I used that frame of those people with Geass sign or code sign on their foreheads in the second video. That flashes. Some were saying, well, maybe that's just the order of Geass, like the Geass order. But actually, the Geass order was established by Charles and V2 to study Geass, and C2 was part of it. But if you look at their clothing, it's different, right? It doesn't look like the clothing of the people in the frame. So I would say that these are the ancient civilization, because remember, they do mention an ancient civilization, so it does come into play. So I think that frame is a hint as far as the ancient civilization is concerned. And Akio Anon mentioned that the nun appeared to be a member of a church of Geass, now in the Middle Ages, so the nun that gave C2 her power. Now, I'm not sure if that was a church of Geass or if it was like a more traditional church, like it's their world, it's a different world, right? So I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, having like a religion dedicated to worshiping Geass, and, you know, having some of those followers having certain powers could also be an interesting twist, because, you know, you have like a fanatical members of a church, powerful members of a church trying to, you know, use the thought elevators or doing something, you know, extreme, and that could be an interesting twist as well.
Can we go over what like the thought elevators like do, what they are? Like, what is your theory on that, Animac? The thought elevators. What's their significance?
So there are 8 thought elevators scattered around the world. They're ancient structures, and they were built by an ancient civilization, right? And what Charles does throughout the animes, instead of like caring about what happens with Britannia, he's trying to get control of all these thought elevators, and he needs them and 2 codes to activate the Ragnarok connection, which connects him then to the world of C and allows him, in his mind, to destroy it, trying to destroy God and turn everyone into a collective consciousness. Now, what happens here is
like,
that...
What's his motivation, though? Like, he just wants to do it? It's like from Full Metal Alchemist, the guy just wants to kill God?
No, he V2 and him
Yeah.
were sick of being, lies and the betrayals of the modern world.
Yeah.
And they thought that the masks, remember the masks thing? When Shirley sees masks falling, when they all talk about masks. The whole point is, and it's very philosophical actually,
of course,
the point is that everyone puts on a fake front, a fake persona. And what they're trying to say is like, we're all fake. We're all fake. We're all like ego, amour propre, however you want to put it. And he's saying if we were not individuals, if we did not have our own egos, if we were just part of a collective consciousness, we would be happier. There would be no lies because we would all think the same things and be open with each other. It's very much like the Human Instrumentality Project in Evangelion.
Evangelion, yeah.
Genesis Evangelion, right? So very extreme approach, but his motivation is, he thinks that the world is full of lies and deceit, and that the only way to stop it is essentially to annihilate the human race as it exists today.
And Sol Maka says that it's living and dead. So everyone dead would also kind of be back. Would it kind of revive the dead as well? Or no?
Yeah, it could be. It could be living.
That would make sense why Charles wants it, because Marianne's dead.
Yeah, but Marianne was not dead. She was just in Anya's body.
Did he know that?
Technically dead.
Okay. All right.
Is Briggs here with us?
I am, but just my connection is a piece of crap right now.
Okay, we'll try talking then if we come up
solid right now.
Yeah, it sounds good.
So like I think I fixed my end. Like I realized that it keeps on like glitching me in and out. Like I changed my headphone, like my microphone settings or whatever. Hear you guys very well. So it's like I can't really jump into the conversation because it's hard to make out what you guys are saying.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what to do.
Just say stuff about Code Geass.
I've been listening to the live stream because
okay.
But I don't know. This sucks. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, well, address something in the chat then.
Oh, but like one question. I remember you guys said earlier, like there's 3 years. Is that confirmed?
30 years later?
3 years.
3 years.
3 years?
No, I don't know. Is that confirmed, Animac?
Well, that's the rumor that we have so far. Like, it's hard to know what's confirmed exactly. It's very early on.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking about this before. Like, when is this going to take place? Like, directly after, or 3 years, or like it could be like 100 years later, type of thing. Like, that would be a cool twist. But I feel like they need Nonali in it for like Lelouch to have any motivation to do stuff.
For sure. Yeah, but I'd miss Colin though. I'd miss Colin so much.
So would your brother.
We grew to love those characters, right? So it would be weird if like all of a sudden it's like, all right, so everyone's dead but Lelouch and C2. And everyone lived peacefully and happily ever after, but now a new age and like, you know.
Lelouch starts to like go ahead and be like an anti-hero. Not even an anti-hero, it's a straight villain 100 years later.
But it would be too soon for them to just, as soon as Code Geass is over, okay, a new threat. So that would like completely undermine what Lelouch did, like completely undermine it. So I think they should give it some time for like, you know, like it was a good attempt to fix the world, but then something else happened.
At least an episode of happiness.
Yeah. Some filler happiness episodes, come on.
Yeah, Orange and Anya growing oranges.
Yeah.
Let me address some of the chat stuff. The War Freak 9 says, Colin better not get with Gino. I agree with you. Colin better get with me and no one else, because that's my waifu. That's my one waifu. Everyone has all these different waifus. That's like my one, okay? Like, I like Amelia
You're lucky
too.
your girlfriend isn't watching this stream right now.
I like Amelia too, but like, why you gotta disturb shit, Gozen? I like Amelia too, but I feel like Briggs likes Amelia more, so, but like Colin is mine, that's it. Okay, some other stuff. Killer 123 etc. says, do you think that Lelouch in R3 will be a hero or an anti-hero? Because there's many reasons of Lelouch changing his role. So yeah, it depends, right? Is Lelouch going to come back? You know, I think that Code Geass is complicated that way, right? It's not going to be clear cut because Lelouch is going to come back for some reason, but we don't know if it's going to be because he wants to save the world, or if in his mind he wants to save the world, but in reality he might be doing something negative. Like, because we know that for Suzaku, what Lelouch is doing is bad, and Suzaku thinks that what he's doing is good because of his intentions. Whereas for Lelouch, he thinks he's doing the good thing. He's doing what has to be done, but sometimes he kills civilians, right? Like, we know that Lelouch sometimes kills civilians. I remember in the Geass order how he ordered all those children to be slaughtered, part of the Geass order. So yeah, he kind of thinks that the ends justify the means. Lelouch.
Machiavellian, yeah.
Yeah, he thinks like, I'm fighting for the greater good. So if that means I have to commit a few crimes along the way, do some bad things, it's worth it in the end. But then the question is, does that make him just as bad as the bad guys? So is he really an anti-hero? So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I think, yeah, like we discussed Suzaku before. I mean, he portrays like he's this like really good person, and like most AMVs I've seen portray like Suzaku as like the good guy, the white knight, and like Lelouch kind of straying and becoming like a corrupt person. But at the same time, I feel like Suzaku does bad things too when he's ordered to, and working in the system doesn't really, he has to do stuff and justify the means for him too, even though he acts like he's like holier than thou. So I feel like Lelouch is definitely full of contradictions, and Suzaku as well.
Briggs, can you hear us? Briggs can't hear us?
I can, but it's
Okay.
like very.
Okay,
In and
well,
out.
It's hard to make out what you guys are saying. Yeah. It's funny every time you guys say, "Can you hear me?" Can you hear us? Like I can, but it's like everything before that.
Okay, answer something in the chat then. Like if you want to like
hard.
address something in the chat. Yeah, true. So in the chat we have a few people talking about Lelouch committing evil to save the world from a greater evil, fighting fire with fire. I think, yeah, that's a complicated thing because it's a very real life thing. Often armies do things that will be considered immoral in peacetime, in a time of war, because you feel like you don't have another choice, right? Like armies kill civilians, but they feel like it's because they're saving a greater number of civilians, and so they had to do it. So and some people would say, no, killing even one civilian, one innocent person is wrong. It makes you just as bad as the bad guys. Other people would say, well, no, you have to look at the greater good. You have to look at how many people you saved. But yeah, it's an interesting ethical question. I think that's what I love about anime, is that the best anime shows like Code Geass, what they do is they kind of make us think about these things. They challenge our perspective. It's not just all good guys and bad guys. Often in growing up on Western cartoons, when I was watching, it was always good guys and bad guys. It was very clear cut. You know that the good guys are going to win. You know that the bad guys are just evil for no reason, just for the sake of being evil.
Destroy the world.
Yeah, they have no true motivations. Like, they're not that complex. And what I really loved about anime is that it's much more complex. It's much more like the real world. Because what's good to me is not necessarily what's good for you, especially if we're rivals. Let's say we're rival countries or rival rulers. What's good for me in my country might not be good for you in your country. So when I'm doing something that you think is bad, I think it's good because it's helping my people. Right?
Yeah. There's two sides to every story, definitely. And I mean, it's hard to sometimes relate to Suzaku's side of the story, but you kind of get where he's coming from. But it is strange. Like someone mentioned, he follows authority and he thinks like that's the correct thing to do, and he's right as long as he does that, which is true. I agree with that. But then like he starts off by killing his father, which was like not following authority according to who was in charge at the time. So I feel like he has some internalized racism going on that no one ever really addressed.
Yeah, and Misty Flair says utilitarianism, and that's a philosophical concept. Is the idea of the greatest good for the greatest number, and that's kind of what Lelouch seems to be doing. And yeah, a couple other people are asking, do you think that after the Zero Requiem, Lelouch is still going to be pretending to be the bad guy? So do we think that he's going to come back and act like the emperor that he was acting at the end? Because what he was doing, remember, at the end of the show, he became the bad guy, the evil emperor, because he wanted to unite everyone against him. Everyone was against the emperor. And then when he had Zero kill him, everyone would then be united against Zero as the hero, and the rebels as the heroes who finally destroyed this evil emperor. Like, that was the Zero Requiem, remember? That was the whole point of the Zero Requiem. Now, will he be evil again? I don't think so, because now that the Zero Requiem was complete, if something happens to complicate it, then clearly they're going to need a new strategy, right, guys? They're going to need to switch them. So Lelouch is going to be like, okay, so I tried the whole being evil thing, getting everyone united. It didn't work because something else happened. So now I need to, if I'm going to come back, I need to come back for the greater good, not because I'm going to, play as an evil guy or whatever. Maybe at first he will. Maybe, I don't know. Depends who the enemy is, right? So Lelouch will use the strategy, whatever strategy he can. So if the enemy is someone that he can use the whole evil thing to his advantage, then he might portray an evil character. But if the enemy is like someone threatening the whole world, then of course he can't be evil because he'll be trying to protect the world. So one thing that I mentioned in the second video again is, what if this ancient civilization of Geass users was an alien civilization? What if they have these thought elevators in different planets? What if these thought elevators can transport you to different planets? What if there's some type of portals? So yeah, if these guys are an alien civilization, if they have like really superior technology, if they decide to colonize the world or destroy it, because someone mentioned, I'm gonna just look up his name right now. He said he couldn't make it today, but he mentioned something that I really liked. His name is Der Hafenator, so it's like a German name. And he said it could be that these aliens were called when Charles activated all 8 thought elevators. So maybe the aliens were actually provoked by Charles doing what he did, activating the Ragnarok connection. Maybe they saw humans as a threat because they did that, because they know how dangerous that is. Because remember, in Akito the Exiled, again, I mentioned this in the second video, in the last episode, the one apparition that looks like an immortal witch that shows up, she says that the humans don't deserve to possess Geass power, that they're too ignorant. They should not have it. So she's almost angry about it, that they use Geass. So what if this ancient civilization, whether they're aliens, whether they've moved beyond physical form, whether they're hiding somewhere in secret on this planet, what if they, after Charles activates the thought elevators, realize humans are too dangerous to be left alone? They're going to destroy the world, kind of like in Gurren Lagann. What if they decide we need to step in and destroy the human race before they destroy the world? And that would set us up, all of humanity, the world, against this alien civilization with powerful technology. And it would force Lelouch to come out, because obviously he's not going to sit back and see the world get destroyed, see Nonnally get destroyed. So yeah, I think that would really kind of bring everything together and raise the stakes even further than the end of R2. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so all the anime, don't worry about it, man. You have no control over it. Don't worry about the sucky connection. A lot, while you were talking, a lot of people, I think Akio started, and a lot of people agreed that if Lelouch, for example, if he is gonna be like a main part in the story, he's not gonna just come out and say I'm alive early on. Like, it's not gonna be a public persona. It's gonna be like from the shadows. Like, he's gonna actually be talking about the stuff from like behind the scenes. He's gonna be, the puppet master, rather than again showing his face. And there was the idea that again, by the end, when he defeats the villain, he'll reveal himself again. But I just think that might be almost too much, just repeating what happened already. So, I mean, I think he'll somehow have to be kind of like an unnamed behind the scenes kind of hero, while maybe someone else takes the credit again like before. But yeah, it's going to be like, they did it so good the first time that I don't like, I'm optimistic, but like, I just don't see at this point how they could make the third season as good. So we'll see.
So I want to just mention briefly what Sol Maka mentioned. Sol Maka said that maybe he's wondering if Nonnally is now running Britannia.
Well, I guess, but
And she was the viceroy, right,
okay,
for Area 11.
yeah,
But I wonder, yeah, that brings the bigger question: who is running Britannia? Who is running the entire world now? Because
that's a good question.
we had an ending that kind of like makes it all look peachy and orangey, if you will, right? It makes it all look nice. But if you think about the complex reality of the world, just look at world politics. It's not so easy because if you remember, the world of Code Geass has Britannia, which was always an empire. It was never democratic or anything. It has Europia. It has the Chinese Federation. It has other independent countries. So yeah, the question is then, what what happens with all these different countries? Like, who's going to rule them? How are they going? Are they going to turn Britannia into a free republic? How is that going to work out? Like, look, what about all those nobles? And Vector Maximus actually mentioned that one enemy could be the nobles of Britannia, so the powerful lords, who, let's say, Zero and the Black Knights try to remove the lords and create a more democratic government, a more free government in Britannia. There will be a huge backlash by those lords who are already benefiting from the current system. And they have no experience in that country with democracy. They never have. So, you see in the real world, when people try to bring democracy to a country that's never had it, it doesn't usually go well. There's war, there's civil war. So, yeah, that's another area of it would be good to talk about. Like, what happens when all these different countries get together and start fighting each other? And within those countries, there's people who will be resisting the Zero Requiem and whatever they have planned. And there's different diverse countries with different systems of government. If Britannia collapses because there's different factions fighting each other, is another country going to take advantage and start a war with Britannia to take their territory? And how can that result in peace? Like, right? So can Zero, Suzaku as Zero, keep all of these people at bay, keep all of these factions at bay? I think that's a huge thing.
Yeah, it's a good question. And for example, if you look at the idea if Nonali is in charge, I mean, or if she's at least deeply attached to the outcome of kind of the future of Britannia. So it might make Lelouch question like what he wants, because he wanted to free the people to help Nonali. But what if Nonali starts like being like a leader or benefiting from that Britannian system? Lelouch might even switch sides. I don't know. It would suck, but I mean, I feel like Nonali has always been his main motivation. So definitely Nonali's position in all this will be very relevant. So good job to everyone that brought that up, because that was always a key factor in the first season, and it'll be a big deal in this one as well.
Yeah, Akio Anon brings up a really good point that now under the whole Zero Requiem thing, every country is under the United Federation of Nations Charter, and none of them has their own military, because the Black Knights are supposed to be like a UN police force, which I always thought was a terrible idea, when they made that. Because think about it. Imagine if the UN in the real world said, okay, so all countries have to give up your military power, and we, the UN, are going to protect you. Like, who would agree to that? Who would, I feel like there's going to be a lot of pushback against something like that from these different countries, from these lords of Britannia who have vast wealth of their own personal militaries, who are going to be like, I don't want to give in to this. So that kind of thing could result in a huge amount of civil conflict, civil strife, and rebellions and things like that happening. Because again, I don't think that the Black Knights, of course, they're going to recruit more people in the Black Knights, make it a huge army, but for them to police the entire world, it's never worked in our world practically. So how is it going to work in their world? Like, maybe they can say, okay, well, if you are rebel, we'll use the Flea against you. But are they really going to use the Flea if that means that they're going to kill a bunch of civilians just because the lords who ruled that land rebelled? Like, yeah, so it's a very complex issue. But it could be, at least, let's say for the season when it starts, they could, if it's going to be a full season, they could have like some civil conflict, smaller things happening that show that the Zero Requiem wasn't so perfect after all. There are a lot of problems with it, and then kind of move up to, oh, by the way, there's this ancient civilization that's also a threat, and they're becoming a bigger threat every day, and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, and All Day Anime just brought up like what if Nonali dies, and I mean that'd be an interesting thing, because Lelouch has C2. Obviously, there's a romantic relationship there, but what his main motivation was always Nonali. So without that, I mean, that would almost be interesting just because he'd be free of all of those associations that kept him tethered in the old series. Not only was always kind of the thing that was the wild card that you could never predict Lelouch's actions because not only might sway him one way or the other. So yeah, if she was out of the picture somehow, I think either we'd see a much more cynical Lelouch, or like he definitely wouldn't no longer be kind of as tied to emotion. He might be more kind of objective and even more kind of Machiavellian because he's not worried about his sister. He's just looking at it like a chess game objectively.
Yeah, I just want to say we have quite a few people watching in the chat. I want to welcome everybody and thank you again for showing up. I was honestly thinking that no one's going to show up because I had this idea.
And all, yeah.
Yeah, I had this idea to do it on Christmas Eve, and I was like, well, maybe people are going to show up, maybe not, but a lot of you showed up, so thank you so much and for contributing in the chat. That's awesome. I wanted to address a comment by, let me just find it.
The C2 one? The C2 that wanted to die from the contract?
No,
I feel like,
hold on.
Yeah.
It was Prabpreet Singh. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, bro. He said that he thinks that the enemy will be another code user and that they will come after C2. And someone else mentioned that C2 is probably hiding a whole bunch of secrets that we don't know about.
Yeah.
So that is an interesting thing, right? It could again tie into the ancient civilization, like someone from the ancient civilization, like the earliest descendants of the code users, the people who created code, saying, okay, so C2, you're an immortal that's been alive for hundreds of years. You know a bunch of secrets. You could be, you're harming us. You're a threat to us. We could come after you and destroy you. So yeah, I think that's a good point as well. Another thing I wanted to say, guys, once the stream is up, you're going to be able to put comments. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see the chat once the stream is finished and then YouTube uploads the video. So make sure to, whatever your biggest points are, I would like you to put them in the comments to this video. So put them in the comments after the chat, because I can't save the chat. I'm taking notes as fast as I can, but I'm going to miss some stuff. So make sure that whatever your biggest comments were, your biggest theories that you took away from the chat, put them in the comments once the video is up, because I would love to then have them in the comments so that I can reference them when I'm making the video, because I don't want to miss anything in the chat. So if you can, once the video is up, comment in the actual comments to the video some of your theories that you really wanted me to know, that we discussed in chat, so that, to refresh my memory in case I missed it or in case I didn't write it down and stuff like that. So I would really appreciate if you could do that. And yeah, what were you gonna say?
Well, there was just an idea about C2 kind of offering to end the contract with kind of, because she was supposed to die, right? So that was the contract she made with Lelouch, but then like that contract wouldn't be really fulfilled if she remained alive. But I feel like she kind of changed her opinion when Lelouch ended up, because she said in the end kind of, they were no longer doomed to a life of loneliness because we had Geass. So I feel like she's overcome that, and she just wants to be alive with Lelouch, but Lelouch has more than just C2. But yeah, I want to thank you guys. This was amazing to see all of your ideas, and we thought of so many stuff we would never think of without all of these people, like with all of you building off of each other and we building off of you. So thanks a lot for showing up. And we realize it's an important time of the year, so thank you for taking it out of your time to come here.
Thanks, but we're not ending it yet. You sound like you want to end it.
Oh, I thought that's what this was approaching, but okay.
No, it's not. we're having a great discussion. We're not going to end it now.
Cool.
Yeah, Rafael Rice points out C2's contract was to grant her one wish, which was originally to die. But what is her contract now, right? So yeah, and a couple other people mentioned, if C2 is alive, so her wish wasn't granted,
yeah,
then why wouldn't the contract still be valid between her and Lelouch? So then, potentially Lelouch has Geass still. But then the question is, if she no longer wants to die, does that change the contract? Does the contract stay the same and then they just have the contract forever without it changing? Or does that mean that she has to have another wish now that Lelouch has to fulfill? Like, yeah, we don't know the specifics of Geass, those are the mysteries of the show. We know some things about Geass and about Code, but there's a lot of things we don't know, which is one of the reasons why I feel like season 3 could be really good because they do build up a world with a lot of mystery, with a lot of things that we don't know. So there's a lot of room to grow there. The only thing is they have to do it right. They have to hire proper writers. They have to know what they're doing, right, guys? So I really, there's potential. There's potential here. I am excited. I'm not going to be pessimistic. I'm not going to call it a money grab. I just hope they hire good writers, because for Akito the Exiled, they did not hire good writers. And even though the animation was great, the plot had many holes. The characters were not developed well. So yeah, definitely hire better writers for this. We don't want another Akito the Exiled.
Yeah, and I think Akio has a good point that the contract is an abstract thing, right? So it's maybe we're too bent on, like, maybe the reason doesn't even matter. The point is when C2 is killed, that's when like the contract's fulfilled. But if they don't really want to fulfill the contract, like they don't really have to. It's not like it has to be. Maybe we're being too stuck on the contract. Maybe it's not that important. They can just keep living on despite the contract.
Yeah, another thing that I wanted to point out, someone brought this up in the comments to one of the videos a while ago, the whole Mao situation. Like, how come Mao didn't kill C2? He had Geass in both eyes. So, if someone with Geass in both eyes can just kill someone in Code, how come Mao did not kill C2? And remember what happened with Mao. His contract was to do the same that Lelouch was initially going to do, is to kill C2. Her wish was to die, right? Remember? However, he couldn't do it. C2 was the only one whose mind he couldn't read, so he loved her. He wanted to live the rest of his life with her. So he couldn't carry out her contract because he couldn't bring himself to kill her. So that's why she kind of threw him aside and made a contract with Lelouch. But now Lelouch is not going to kill her either. So again, does that mean that the contract expires? Does that mean that it just stays as it is for hundreds of years now that Lelouch is immortal? Yeah, we just don't know yet. We just don't know.
And yeah, I'm very excited for the visuals. I know the story is important, but just I feel like they're gonna have a lot of backing because it was such a popular series. So, and seeing how good Akito looked and Code Geass, like I can't wait to see how awesome the animations are going to be in the fight sequences as well.
Yeah, someone mentioned no digit. He said the most BS version would be if Layla just revives Lelouch like she did in the Akito movies. Yeah, like I definitely none of that revival stuff. Like either he has code or he's dead. Like I hope they're not gonna do some kind of like, oh, it's a Lelouch clone or it's a Lelouch revival. Like he's actually brought back from the dead.
would be bad if it was a clone.
Yeah, like I hope it's not something ridiculous. I hope it's like, hey, he was alive the whole time because of code. Look, if you follow the hints, like I mentioned in the video, if you guys want to check out the videos that I made, if you haven't already, like if you follow the clues, it's very satisfying to be like, yeah, okay, it makes sense. He's alive and this is why. If they're just like, oh yeah, we brought him back with magic. By the way, Geass can bring people from the dead. Like what? Like that would be problematic to me. That would really be a bad start to the series. Another thing that I wanted to mention is in the second video, I showed a frame of a planet. And a few people mentioned that it looks like Jupiter. And I actually looked into this, and I'm definitely going to mention this in the upcoming video. It does look like Jupiter. So what do you think is the significance of Jupiter in particular being associated with this civilization with code? Does anybody have any ideas on that in the chat? And what about you, Gozen?
Yeah, I don't know. That's difficult to even speculate. I mean, it might be just kind of. I don't think it'll necessarily be like they're from Jupiter. I think Jupiter is just kind of symbolizing the otherworldliness, maybe like just the universal quality of these beings. But the fact that they'd originate from Jupiter, I don't really think that would be the case. I think it would just showing space would show that that's pretty much a universal being rather than just terrestrial beings. I think that was the main point of Jupiter, in my opinion.
Yeah, All Day Anime says the power of friendship. Yeah, Lelouch is gonna get brought back to life with the power of friendship. That would be the best theory. Oh man. But okay, so I actually, if you guys bear with me, let me put on my glasses. I actually found something about Jupiter in particular, and this I'm going to mention this in the video, because remember that Jupiter, the planet, it looks like Jupiter, and it's shown in space in the frame, and in another frame too, which I'm going to put in the next video that I found. In the moment when Lelouch recovers his memories after Charles, after C2 recovers his memories, she kisses him, and then he breaks Charles's Geass. In that moment, you see a close-up of the planet, and it definitely looks like Jupiter. It even has the craters of Jupiter, and it's shown in space, so you can see the sun behind it. However, the planet that represents the collective consciousness or unconsciousness or God in the world of C looks exactly like Jupiter too. So why are they showing us real Jupiter in space, and then Jupiter as the world of C, a symbol for God? Like, why did the planet in the world of C not just like look different or something? Like, what is the significance? And I found this like symbolism of Jupiter in on the internet, and it says Jupiter is the thinking person's planet. As the guardian of the abstract mind, this planet rules higher learning and bestows upon us a yen for exploring ideas, both intellectually and spiritually. Jupiter assists us in formulating our ideology. It is in the spiritual realm, Jupiter lords over religion and philosophy. A search for the answers is what Jupiter proposes. And if it means spanning the globe to find them, well, then that's probably why Jupiter also rules long distance travel. In keeping with the theme, Jupiter compels us to assess our ethical and moral values. It also addresses our sense of optimism. So this is like an astrological symbolism, horoscope type stuff about Jupiter, what Jupiter represents. And yeah, when you think about the world of C, the whole idea of the collective unconscious is abstract thinking, philosophy, ideology. That might be why Jupiter is used. But the question is whether it's just symbolically or whether, Jupiter is actually going to come into play. Maybe this ancient civilization is from Jupiter somehow. Maybe they colonized Jupiter. Maybe there's thought elevators or other relics on Jupiter, on other planets. And yeah, I thought that was very interesting. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Gozen? What do you guys think in the chat?
Yeah, we have some awesome discussion going on in the chat, and Akio pointed out that like Code Geass is one of the few animes where we could get this much into detail and almost be justified with like focusing on the tiny details, but they may end up being important. So let's do it. That's exactly what we're gonna do. And there was also a question, Animac, who do you think Lelouch should end up with as or like Shirley in a perfect world, Colin, probably not Colin, but I said C2.
Definitely C2. Lelouch and C2. That's canon, guys. That ship is canon. That ship has sailed.
Yeah, it is definitely like what they are setting it up for the whole time. And I mean, C2 goes through so much for Lelouch too, and like she's sometimes a tsundere, but she's usually like, she's there for him when it counts, which I appreciate that. I appreciate the feels that come from that relationship.
Akio Anon says Lelouch and Nina.
That is the only time I've ever seen that in my life. So
yeah, Lelouch x Nina. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, poor Table-kun.
Schneisel is charming.
Now Table-kun has no one.
Yeah. Yeah, but as far as the Jupiter stuff goes, yeah, it's interesting that you noticed that, and I definitely think a lot of this stuff is going to be like abstract and symbolism too. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that ties in, whether it's like actually Jupiter, whether they actually colonize that planet, because we've had such small glimpses of these different people, these like aliens, right? We had such small experiences with them. So that's definitely, I think, going to be something that this show is definitely going to expand on. There's no way they can't do it. And that might even end up being the main point of that show, because it's just so untapped, that whole like storyline.
Yeah, and No Digit says that he thinks that Geass doesn't come. He doesn't think Geass would come from aliens. He thinks that that picture, the frame of that ancient civilization, just shows a past immortals. So like immortals from that ancient civilization that created the thought elevators, and that's definitely possible. We don't know. And the way it could come into play in season 3 is they could just be, hiding somewhere else. Like they could be still members of the civilization, could still be around. And if we do look at Akito, we don't know if it's canon, but it does suggest in Akito that these beings with code have become representations of pure consciousness, meaning they've moved beyond physical form, like in Gurren Lagann, the anti-spirals. So it could be that they're not necessarily aliens, they're just an ancient civilization that transcended physical form, and they were maybe lying dormant, but then when this whole war happened and the thought elevators were activated, the Ragnarok connection, they felt threatened because Charles almost destroyed the collective unconsciousness, which is what these people are representations of, right? So then they might rise up to stop the human race because the human race has gone too far or something like that. So not necessarily aliens, but an ancient civilization that is as powerful as an alien civilization would be because we don't know anything about them. And because they seem to have transcended physical form, that's also an option, I think.
Let's just take some time to welcome Maclenaut into the chat. What's up, Maclenaut?
Oh, Mac is here?
Yeah.
Hey, bro.
Mac is here.
What's up? Let's see your theories, Mac. We need some theories right here.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna need those pizza references, Pizza Hut references, in the new Code Geass.
So also somebody said Lelouch, someone said Lelouch X Valletta Nu. I just want to say that I think Valletta Nu is the most attractive woman in Code Geass, bar none. Like there's a lot of them attractive ones. I like Colin's personality the most, but Valletta, 10 out of 10.
Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree.
Whatever, guys, back me up in the chat. Valletta Nu, 10 out of 10. Come on.
Colin, it's all Colin.
Colin is great too, but Valletta Nu, like,
no. This is no longer about the theories. It's just about who it is. Valletta's freaking pregnant, man. Akio is calling you out for picking a pregnant woman.
Yeah, well, she's not gonna be pregnant after 9 months, bro. First of all, second of all, yeah, that's awesome. She's pregnant. She's a family person now. She's having children. That's great. That's
Misty. Yes, Misty is right.
Person.
Colin.
Wrong with that.
Colin wins. 10 out of 10. I agree.
I'm nothing against Colin. I just Valletta has like this certain kind of like
Animac. Yeah, that's cool. Animac likes the older woman.
She's not older, man.
She's older. She's definitely older.
She's probably like 25. Like, come on.
That's older compared to that.
Bro.
C2 is the best. I like C2 is not personally like my favorite. I think she's the best for Lelouch, but I mean that's fair.
By the way, Ricardo Fierro says anime sucks. Well, you've come to the wrong place, buddy. You've come to the wrong place because here we're all anime all the time, all day, if you will. Shout out to Briggs.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how he ended up here, or maybe he's just trolling, maybe he's just joking around. Anime is the best. You're right, Creepy Ellen. You're right.
Creep Ellen, not
Creep Ellen. You're totally not creep. Oh man, all day. What's an anime? That's too complicated to get into now, but
anime is like Lord of the Rings, but animated.
Yeah,
Mac, that should help you. So, what other theories should we discuss? I saw quite a few people think Schneisel is going to play an important role. I noticed that. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like we've moved beyond Schneisel. I feel like, personally, that Lelouch has kind of tossed him aside. It's like we need to move on to bigger and better things. And especially after Schneisel tried to take over the Black Knights, and then Lelouch, and she tries to flee Damocles, and then Lelouch crushes him. In my personal opinion, I feel like Schneisel is old news, like he's done. But I guess, I mean, it's a possibility. What about this? What about this crazy idea that I thought of the other day? Could Charles come back?
No, I wouldn't like that.
No, but
I
hear
would
me
not
out.
like that.
Hear me out.
But
I'm not saying like or not. I'm just like, is it possible for Charles to come back? Because remember, Charles, he lost his physical body. So yes, he lost Code. But remember, like I said, in Akito the Exiled, we see these beings with Code appear over the Code symbol, appear as apparitions, like beyond physical form. They're representations of pure consciousness. So because Charles was sucked into the world of C, absorbed, could he somehow regain his consciousness in there and manifest, not physically, but manifest like that other immortal witch did in Akito, and pose a threat in that way, kind of, because he is very fanatical. He could be that he could appear in like a non-physical, because he didn't die the traditional way, he was absorbed. Do you think that's possible? I'm not saying if you think it's a good idea, but do you think it's possible?
you cut out there for a little bit. So you're saying if he could come back from the world of C?
Yeah, because he was absorbed by the world of C. He didn't die conventionally. So could he somehow manifest as a non-physical form,
I
like
mean,
in Akito the Exiled, some of them do?
they do? Oh. Well, I mean, they if it does, it would be like kind of a ghost. Like I think if anything, it would be like offering advice or something. I don't think it would be like a main bad guy, you know? I think that would be kind of like how many times did they bring Mao back, you know? Hopefully he's not like the main bad guy in the new thing, but I think they brought like old bad guys, like especially like main bad guys back enough. So like if it's someone out of the ordinary like Schneisel or something, like that could be interesting, but if they brought Charles like the main, like, you know, he was a big threat, if they brought him back, that would kind of be too obvious for me. Dark Flame, I agree with you. Yeah, so pretty much I'm more excited right now, just even thinking about how the mechas will evolve, thinking about how, like we saw in Akito, that there are ones that like look like horsemen, right there, and then there are different ones. So I think that will be a main thing to see how those evolve, and like just how they use creativity to create really cool designs for those mechas.
Yeah, in Akito we saw mechas that move like spiders, mechas that move like a horse. So yeah, that it's like bringing the mecha game up, the nightmare game up, and I just wonder how they could step it up even further. Any ideas, guys, in the chat about mechas? How they can make them even awesomer, more awesome? And any thoughts you go, then?
Yeah, well, like with the Flay, I mean, it's gonna be hard to beat that, right? Like, I mean, they kind of had some amazing progressions in the mechas, especially when they started to be able to fly and all that. So I think it's going to be hard to top it, and I think Akito got creative in that sense, at least, if in no other, that it started creating like kind of new ideas for mechas. So we'll see. I mean, if they end up doing something like even more powerful, like I can't think of how it would be now, but I look forward to it. I'm sure they'll do well. If there's anything they did well in the first two seasons, it's the mechas. The mechas were on point, and you gotta love the way they drive the mechas too.
Yeah, Tyler Zeaza says, season 3, Lelouch is shipped with every female character. Yeah, man.
Yeah, let's switch the genres up.
The shipping lately has gotten out of control. Like, if Lelouch starts figure skating in season 3, I am done. I am done with that show, man. Like, that's where I draw the line. Lelouch figure skating, Suzaku being his coach. I'm out. I'm out.
I'd agree with that. That wouldn't be what I came for.
Yeah, and by the way, everybody who's celebrating Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas Eve, guys.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for coming out. This is awesome. Like, we've had lots of people in the chat, lots of people watching, which is like, again, it just goes to show you, when you have a feeling to do something, definitely do it. Because I I had the feeling we should do it today, and then I was thinking, oh well, people are gonna be busy, maybe we shouldn't. But I followed through, and it's been an awesome conversation. We've had a great time. We're still gonna keep going. But by the way, if you're interested in having more discussions like this about Code Geass and about other anime theories about other anime, let me know. Potentially before every new video, we could do one of these, kind of brainstorm and then make the video. So for this one we're doing for the craziest theories about Code Geass season 3 video. But we could do more Code Geass related stuff. We could do. I've always wanted to do a theory about the ending of Conan after story, because I have some theories about that I want to talk about. If you guys want to talk about other anime theories in streams like this, in a video, let me know. You can let me know in the comments to this video once it's uploaded, because those comments will stay. These ones in the chat will not. You can let me know in other comments to other videos. Just feel free to give us recommendations, because I study political theory and philosophy. I have for many years. So I've always thought of anime in a theoretical, philosophical way, critical way. So if you guys like to see this kind of stuff, absolutely let me know and give me your recommendations. Another thing I wanted to bring up that I thought was really interesting about the whole Charles human instrumentality project. Remember when Charles wants to, destroy God and make everyone one consciousness so that people don't hate each other, don't fight each other? Remember what Lelouch says, and this is very important. I really think this is essential, like in terms of human nature. Lelouch says, I reject your views because what you are proposing is for everything to stop, for history to stop. No more conflict, no more progress. Because if we never fight each other, if there's never any hardships in our lives, if we're all just like a collective spiritual being, we're not doing anything, we would stagnate. Humanity would stagnate. The world would stagnate. We would never. When you face challenges and overcome them, you become better. You learn new things. The world progresses, and that's what we need. And the reason Lelouch rejects Charles is because of that very reason. He says, we might have peace with your theory, but we will not have progress. We will not overcome our challenges. We will not have Hajime no Ippo. We will not have Gurren Lagann. We will not have these great things that inspire us, that motivate us, that challenge us. So that, I think that speaks to a very important human point. The fact that, as humans, we often face hardships and we often want to despair and we face difficult situations. But in reality, like the Super Saiyan metaphor, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. The closer you get to despair and defeat, the stronger you become later. I think that's very true. If you never faced challenges, imagine how you would be. Imagine if human beings were in the Garden of Eden, if we never left the Garden of Eden, as Christian teaching says, and other religions have similar beliefs, we would never progress because we would have everything we need. If you had everything you need, if you never had any conflict, our minds would not even develop. We would never have to think about things. Our minds we would be like animals, very simple-minded, right? Because we wouldn't have to face challenges. We wouldn't have to overcome things. We wouldn't have to think of new inventions. So I think that, even people often ask, why do bad things happen to good people? Why do just people face injustice? But if you think about it that way, Lelouch is 100% right. Without these challenges, we would not progress. We would not become better. The world would not become better. So yeah, I think that's a very deep point. When I was rewatching Code Geass and I saw that encounter between Lelouch and Charles in episode 21, that really spoke to me, like that philosophical aspect of it. It's really a strong message.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I feel like if you look at Gurren Lagann, you'll get that across the board. Like that's the main idea, that it's the question of, and if Hajime no Ippo, if he stayed where he was in the beginning, then, he never would have progressed and you never would have been, because if you take away emotions, like, you're not going to be scared, you're not going to be sad, but you're not going to grow, and you're probably not going to feel true happiness anyways. But yeah, this got very philosophical. And I mean, when Lelouch was so angry with Charles, at first it was like it wasn't just like, how is this justified? But yeah, when you go through the theory and just the difference in ideals, I definitely agree. And I think most anime feel that, you have to give humans a chance, even though they may like mess everything up. There's also the possibility that they'll grow and become better, and you can't grow without development and making some mistakes.
Yeah, and Hani Al-Zahrani says that my theory is that Suzaku will fuck up. And yeah, I think that's
Yes, yeah.
I think that's a pretty good theory, my friend, because that guy has done so many things wrong throughout the anime, from murdering his own father to turning on his own people to being complicit in the genocide against the Japanese by Britannia to doing all this. So yeah, it's pretty safe bet that Suzaku will do something stupid. So yeah, I feel like that's a good way to start off the next season. It's like Suzaku's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Where's Lelouch? What am I gonna do? Very good point.
That's another reason why Lelouch never would have, like, I feel like, killed himself, because you can't leave your trust completely in Suzaku's hands to take care of Nanali. First of all, he's probably not powerful enough to do it all on his own. Second of all, he's made a wrong decision plenty of times, so you can't really trust that.
Yeah, I agree with that point. However, some people in the comments to the videos have said that actually they think that Lelouch trusts Suzaku because like he trusts him with not only safety and that kind of stuff. But I feel like Lelouch is too smart, in my opinion, to trust anyone completely. Even if he thinks Suzaku is a very cool guy, a nice guy, I feel like he would still be like, maybe Suzaku just won't, he'll make a mistake. So I feel like Lelouch would, think about how much he plans everything, every action, every battle, like Napoleon. He's plans every detail, like ahead of time. Would someone like that, someone who is so obsessed with organization, someone whose Geass is to control someone else, meaning that his desire is to have power, to never be helpless, to have control. Would someone with that Geass, who is that kind of personality, trust anyone 100%? I feel like definitely not. I feel like he would not trust anyone 100%, not even his best friend, Suzaku. God knows why they're best friends. But yeah, so that's my opinion. I would agree with you, Gozan.
Yeah. Back on that is like Suzaku more like Boo Zaku, which I think we all agree with.
Yeah, it's like, are they saying boo? Are they booing me? It's like, no, they're saying boo earns. Boo earns.
Yeah, we have some good theories for here, like, definitely, and I feel like I'm super excited to see what's gonna happen. And Suzaku, I mean, he's the wild card. What is he gonna do? Because I mean, we can assume that he was on the right track at the end of season 2, but I mean, we'll see. Like, no one knows what's gonna happen with that.
Yeah, because again, he supports the Zero Requiem, but we don't know how long that support is going to last. We don't know if something's going to change, if he's going to make a mistake. We don't know what enemies are going to appear, how he's going to deal with those enemies. So there's a lot of questions here for sure. Any other interesting theories that we should address? We talked about the alien stuff, the Jupiter stuff, the Charles or Schneisel, ancient civilization. Yeah, how about you talk a bit, Gozen, while I go do something?
Okay, you go do something. Well, I think Suzaku is definitely, like, flawed, but I gotta say, when they teamed up, Lelouch and Suzaku, I thought that was, I mean, that was pretty epic, right? The music tone was amazing, and everything about their team up was solid. You can't stop Lelouch and Suzaku, so I hope we see some more of actual them teaming up before, rather than being enemies. But that might be difficult. The Geass symbol is pretty cool. I still don't know what it could, like, symbolize, if, like, that necessarily the symbol means more than just denoting the Geass. So we'll see about that. Yeah, but the ending, yeah, All Day Anime is right. The ending was epic. So in general, so hopefully we can just keep the epicness going. We'll see. Imagine we love Code Geass season 3 ending more than the season 2 ending. That would be amazing.
Oh yeah, that would be crazy. I'm just looking for this trailer teaser now.
Yeah, check it out. Like, I feel like that's one of the main reasons I think Lelouch is, like, more boss than Light Yagami, because he just completely gets his way in the end, and Light just becomes the saddest creature in the world, the most pathetic creature, after Nier and Mello have their way with him. So that's one of the main reasons I prefer Code Geass throughout, just because after you know who bites the dust, it just isn't as good. It isn't as good.
Yeah, guys, where's this teaser? Like, did someone send me a link? Send me a link somewhere. In
Yeah, I
like,
saw a link, but it was a while ago.
not in the chat because it's hard to click in the chat. Send me a link like on my discussion page, on the Anime Uproar discussion page. Soul Maka, did you do that? Is that the link you sent? Type Code Geass PV. Okay, let me try Code Geass PV. Because yeah, I thought Code Geass season 3 trailer or teaser, and I just gotten a bunch of fake videos. So okay, PV. Okay, Gozen, go on. Address the chat while I'm looking.
You're gonna watch the yeah. All right. Well, I kind of feel left out that I don't get to watch the video, but it's okay. You can Animac can summarize it for me afterwards.
Is this live action thing?
I don't think so. I don't think it should be.
It looks like a live action Zero talking and like a stage. Like that can't be it, is it, guys?
I hope they're not incorporating CGI in that way.
No, it looks like a play.
So blatantly.
That can't be it.
Yeah, it says they just introduces the PV.
Okay, so this is the beginning live action Zero. Okay, cool. So I'm watching it now, guys.
How long is it?
It's like a minute and a half. If you guys can see.
Is that live action or cartoon now?
This is cartoon now, like anime. So we're seeing Colin cooking with some people. We're seeing someone jumping on pipes, like in a very cool superhero way. The quality is really bad, though.
The really big question here is how is Lelouch gonna up his dressing style, his fashion in season 3? Because I mean, you don't. I mean, he's had such amazing wardrobes. I don't know how they're gonna do that. Live action ruins everything. Misty, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Sometimes it's just not worth it. Although I am excited to see the Ghost in the Shell, but I probably shouldn't be.
Yeah, the guy jumping around could be Suzaku as Zero, you're right. So what we've seen so far is just a bunch of random scenes. Now we're seeing some explosions. We saw a landslide, and we saw a Zero in the Shinkiro, or I assume, well, I don't know if it's Zero or if it's Lelouch or Suzaku in the Shinkiro, like kind of trying to stop the landslide. We're seeing Suzaku jumping, fighting. We saw a flash of Cornelia. We're seeing a bunch of Japanese letters that I need to learn to read soon, guys. Now we're seeing Lelouch's eye. Okay, so it basically is just a bunch of cutscenes, essentially. Like, it doesn't tell us a lot. It tells us, essentially, that there's going to be... Like, this could be... I would say that this could even be just for the movies. Like, a trailer just for the recap movies that are coming out. Because we do remember there was a landslide in the original. There was explosions in the original. So I'm not sure if this is for an actual season 3 or just for the movies that are going to be abridging, because I feel like it'll be early for season 3 now. The animation did look good, but like not the quality of the video wasn't good, but the animation did look good if the quality was better. So yeah, we'll see. We gotta see a bit more about this because I feel like it doesn't tell us a lot. It just kind of it's a teaser, just like teases you a little bit.
Really? So you didn't get anything from it?
Not much. We'll analyze it together after the stream, and then if we feel like we should put a video out about it, we will. But yeah, I don't see too much there. I don't know if you guys are seeing something that I'm not. Let me know in the chat.
Assassin's Creed movie sucks. I'll take your word for it all day.
Yeah, I asked them to tell me how it is, and I guess it sucks. So that's too bad. That's too bad.
See ya,
Macalon says he has to take off. Thanks, Macalon, for stopping in, bro. Merry Christmas Eve, and say hello to the family and everybody. If you see Michelle, tell her we missed her at the stream. She usually pops in. So Yeah. Cool.
Animat.
Thanks for stopping by.
I'm probably gonna have to go now too for the Christmas luncheon.
Well, wait another 20 minutes. We can see if any other cool theories come to mind. Anything coming to your mind goes on. Otherwise, in terms of, we talked about the potential enemies. We talked about the conflict.
Yeah, we talked about the ships. We talked about wardrobe styles. We talked about Suzaku. You know, it's not complete until you talk about Suzaku. We talked about which is the best waifu, and Colin won, huge. And yeah, what else? What else can we cover?
Harry Peterson says, "All hail Lelouch." I
That's
agree.
right. That's right.
All hail Lelouch.
We should go back through it and just see how many times someone said "all hell Lelouch." It's probably
Yeah, I don't think it saves the chat. So once again, reminder,
so
guys.
many times.
Reminder to all you guys: once this video is up, be sure to leave like your best arguments that you got from and theories that you got from the chat in the comments to the video once it's up, just in case I missed something. I've been taking notes, but in case I missed something, I want to make sure that we have them all in the chat to stay permanently, in the comments to stay permanently, because the chat will disappear. And I don't know if there's a way for me to view it afterwards, but it's not going to be publicly available for everyone to see. So yeah, just prepare your comments, your theories, the best ones that you like, and throw them in the comments once the video is uploaded after the stream is over. That would be awesome.
Chibumbo.
Chibumbo, Sekai
Yeah, I know all day. Like I should probably be going out, but whatever. I got 20 more minutes. It's already been this long.
Yeah, and also, yeah, like I said, guys, let me know if you want to do more of these, because a lot of you came and watched and contributed. It was a great chat, amazing. So if you want to do more of these for future videos, whether about Code Geass or other anime theories, let me know and give me suggestions for what other anime theories you want to do. These streams are fun. And of course, we also have Rant Cafe every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We stream with a bunch of friends, have guest YouTubers on. Next week, we're going to be talking about the best and worst of 2016 when it comes to anime, and then we're going to be looking forward towards the future. So we'll probably end up talking about Code Geass in some way. I definitely will. So yeah, definitely don't miss Rant Cafe on Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, what other theories can we talk about before we wrap up? Misty Flair says more. Albert Garcia says, "You guys are cool. Thanks, bro. You were cool too.
Thanks, bro.
Appreciate it."
Yeah, I think like even just looking at like terrestrial conflicts would be interesting. Just if it doesn't go into aliens and space, how can we possibly like get another season? It would have to be with Code, someone with Code probably, or just we'll see. I don't know. It would be weird if they brought someone back, but I think Schneisel would be a cool choice if they did that.
Yeah, Solmaka mentioned that we seem to see Zero from the distance at the beginning of the PV, the new trailer teaser, jumping around on like a big pipe. And because we know that Lelouch is not athletic, it appears to be Suzaku dressed as Zero. But then at the end, towards the end, we see like Suzaku by himself without the Zero mask, running from like what looks like an explosion or landslide. So the question is whether, who ends up being Zero? Is Suzaku gonna stay Zero? Is Lelouch gonna come back as Zero? Is Lelouch gonna come back as another persona? Is he gonna just be the Emperor? Yeah, that's I think a good question too, like how the person of Zero fits in, because we've all been talking about all hail Lelouch. Lelouch is alive. Lelouch is coming back. But what happens to Zero? Because as Lelouch always said, Zero is a symbol. Zero is an important thing. The mask of Zero is a symbol for fighting against injustice, fighting against oppression, fighting against all odds and persevering, performing miracles. So it has a lot of meaning, this Zero thing, right? So the question is, how does it come into play in season 3? Is Lelouch gonna be Zero again? Remember that C2 was Zero a bunch of times. That was cool. Like she posed as Zero.
Well, the
Um,
cool thing is anyone can be Zero. One master. I'm glad that we we stayed this long just so we could include one master in this too. Awesome.
yeah, welcome,
Merry
One Master.
Christmas, one
Merry
master.
Christmas, bro. One Master all the way from Finland. How's it going?
Yeah, Lelouch giving Geass to Nonali would be. I also don't think I agree with Misty that he would ever do that, at least purposefully.
Yeah, Gabriel Lucido says Nonali is the next Zero.
Like, guys, I mean, Nonali can do anything now, right? Like, she can walk, she can see, she's going to be older. You know, she could be another Colin. Who knows? We might actually see her go from frail, weak girl to like one of the strongest characters. We'll see.
Yeah, we are allegedly skipping 3 years, right? That's the rumor right
Her
now. We're getting
wheelchair is
3
her
years
Mecca.
older. So then Nonali would be like, was she 14 now? So she would be like 17, right?
Exactly. That's where Lelouch starts, right? So there's definitely potential for her to be like a major character and actually, you know, be an agent of history rather than just being affected by it. Yeah, like I'm just thinking with technology and like with like the nightmares, they're gonna figure out a way where she can either walk or at least walk through a nightmare frame. But yeah, like I think they're gonna figure out something rather than just keeping her in a wheelchair the whole time.
But can she still not walk?
Well, according to No Digit, she can't walk.
Because I'm thinking,
Maybe she can just see.
because the question was whether her walking disability was also part of the Geass, Charles's Geass limiting her, because she did get hit by bullets, but they also have really advanced medical technology in the Code Geass world. Remember that too. So, they have artificial technology in terms of like maybe using like an exoskeleton to make her walk, but they also have medical technology that's very advanced that could maybe, now that the Geass is broken and she no longer um, is so frail and is limited by it, maybe she will be able to walk again naturally.
Yeah, I definitely think there's going to be a possibility for that. And with technology being such a big part of this world, I think that's the least they could do. Like, look at how many times Mao was saved. Like, insane,
Oh
insane.
yeah, like
So,
Mao coming back, and then he's
if,
like, "Oh, Britannians have great medical technology." So he's telling us the plot. God, it's like, "Oh,
yeah,
I know what you guys are thinking. Why am I still alive?" Well, it's the medical technology, bro.
no, it's true. They're going to find a way around that, I think, if they want to. I mean, that's not going to be a limiting factor.
Yeah, because it's an interesting point. I assume Nonali is 14, right? Can anyone back me up on this in the chat? I feel like she's around that age, and then that would be interesting because Lelouch, she starts at like 17. That's usually the young adult age. Like, in Hunger Game, Katniss Everdeen is 17. Usually they're around 17, right? The young adults, and then they become older later. So if Lelouch is now in his early 20s, but then we still have Nonali to relate to those young adult fans. So like to the new fans that are just coming into Code Geass, you would have Nonali. Maybe she would have like a male friend that the guys could relate to, and then also the older fans would still have a more mature Lelouch, a more mature Colin. Obviously, C2 is quite mature, like what, 500, 600 years old, and still looking good. So
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's a possibility, but maybe the show will do like Harry Potter did and just grow with its audience. Because I mean, most of the core Code Geass fans are older now than 17, so maybe they have that into account too.
yeah, Sol Maka says that in R2 Nonali was 15. So probably 14 in the first one, 15 in the
18,
second one. Now
yeah.
she'll be around 18. So still, a young adult. So yeah, that's cool. And yeah, like Code Geass will have a lot of older fans, people who have watched the show for many, many years. But also, like, remember that people go back and watch anime all the time. So the fact that Code Geass is always such a well-rated, well-respected anime, I'm sure there are a lot of younger people. I'm sure here in the chat we have a lot of younger people who did not watch when it aired first, but then watched it afterwards and became huge fans, right? So yeah, I think there's going to be an interesting mix. And yeah, I think Code Geass has great potential. If they really bring a full third season and they really make it good, has great potential to kind of unify the fan base. Bring in new, younger people, but also remind us, hey, guess what? There's adults who still love anime, who enjoy good anime, and now they're bringing it together in one anime that kind of appeals to everyone, that has already has such high levels of respect from the community. Hype is real. They had all these years to think about how to bring it back. They will have the funds. You better believe they're going to be well funded.
Oh yeah. Oh
So,
yeah.
I think it has great potential. I'm really looking forward to it, and that's why, like, we're on this channel, Anime Up Pro. We're going to be following, the developments. We're going to be looking at everything that's happening with Code Geass and critiquing it and talking about the theories, because I really believe in this show. I believe it could be a great opportunity, great potential. And also, again, if you guys want to recommend other anime that you want to look at theories and philosophy and things like that behind it, let me know. Like I said, the ending to Clannad After Story, I've always wanted to make a video about. I'm going to be making a video about that. I'm probably going to be making a video about ReZero at some point, analyzing certain issues with that anime that I have, with the relationship dynamic between Amelia, Rem, and Subaru. So that's going to be interesting. Stay tuned for that. And yeah, feel free, like I said, to give me recommendations.
Yeah, Code Geass, I agree, is better than Death Note.
I think it's close. Like,
I don't
both
think
of
it's
them.
close after the latter part of Death Note.
Death Note was my. You guys, if you guys wanna in the chat, let me know what was your favorite first anime.
Gateway anime, yeah.
That would be cool. Gateway anime. For me, it was Death Note, like a first adult anime, because, of course, I watched your Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball Z, Vision of Escaflowne, Inuyasha, like all those kind of children or younger audience geared ones. But like Death Note was the first one that was like, people are actually dying. Like, this is good and like there's like it's good and evil are blurred. Like, who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? That kind of stuff. Like, that was my first serious anime, and I was like, man, wow, like, anime is not for kids. Anime is very mature. It's better than most of the adult stuff we see in movies here in the West, in television series. And that was really my gateway. So I have great respect for Death Note. I really love it. Obviously, L is such an amazing character. Yeah, the ending was a little bit underwhelming, but yeah, definitely huge respect for Death Note and Code Geass. For me, it's like both of them were some of my earliest anime that I ever watched, and like, so I associate my anime love for anime with those two. They're some of the first two that I think of, so that's why I have huge respect for both. I also, another one that I really think is good philosophically, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I feel like that show, it has a lot of room for like looking at theories and the philosophy behind it. I feel like that's a really cool show to look at too. If you guys want to look at that show sometime in the future, let me know. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. But let me know if you'd like to see something on that as well.
Ooh, No Digit, Elfen Lied. Oh, Code Geass and Clannad. Wow. No wonder you got into anime. Like, those are some amazing anime in a row there. And we have Dark Flame, whose gateway anime was Attack on Titan. So yeah, Dark Flame is like 14. So shout out to him. Imagine if your gateway anime was Attack on Titan. That's new to the game, but welcome. Yeah, mine was also Death Note. That was the real time that I actually watched this, and I'm like, oh, anime is actually a thing. It's not just like when I watched Dragon Ball Z, when I watched Yu-Gi-Oh, I didn't know that was an anime. I didn't know what that was, but after Death Note, I'm like, oh, I want more of this, and then I found it online that there's a lot more anime. So Death Note for sure. I mean, Clannad, my favorite anime. I love Clannad. That's also got me. And just when you start watching the best anime, like you can't stop.
Yeah, I just want to say a quick Ohayo gozaimasu to Luke Hedges, who called us out for being weebs. And he said that his gateway anime was Cory in the House. That's a good one. I would recommend, if you like Cory in the House.
I think Code Geass is better though.
You will definitely like Seinfeld. If you like Cory in the House, I would move on to Seinfeld next. And eventually, you will get to like anime, my friend. It's not just weebs who like anime. It's also nerds, geeks, trolls. So.
Man, Cory in the House is not where it's at. That's So Raven. Now that's where it's at. That's the good stuff.
No.
Yes.
No. Okay.
Yes.
I'm an elitist, bro. That's So Raven was crap.
How was it not better than Cory in the House? Bakano is an amazing also anime.
Soul
No
Maka
digit.
says Soul Maka says that his first major anime movie was Akira, and yes, great movie.
Akira
Like
wouldn't have been like a gateway anime for me because I feel like it was awesome, but like it didn't want to get me to watch more necessarily as much as Death Note would or Code Geass would.
Luke Hedges is like, I was just kidding, guys. I was bored at work. Of course, man. We know. Why would you be here if you didn't like anime?
Of
Like,
course.
why would you come to the stream? Like, we appreciate you being here, having a great time, bro. Uh, Mate Radu, who I believe would be Romanian by his name, let me know if I'm right, says his first anime was Naruto when he was 9. Naruto's a popular one for
Oh
sure.
yeah, I love Naruto, the manga especially.
Ghost in the Shell, Miss Kowiek, that sounds like Czech or Polish, says that Ghost in the Shell was awesome anime movie. Yeah, absolutely. My first like serious anime movies were the Ghost in the Shell films and Akira as well. And yeah, like amazing, just like trend setting. Like you guys know, have you seen Kanye West's Stronger video for the song Stronger? It's completely influenced by Akira. Like he even takes scenes from Akira and puts it in that video. Like that's how
Yeah.
influential anime is on Hollywood. Ghost in the Shell. They're making a Ghost in the Shell film now in Hollywood, but Matrix was influenced by Ghost in the Shell, right? So there's anime has been setting trends since probably the 70s, 80s.
For
And
sure.
that,
Even Lion King was like kind of a ripoff of Kimba. Kimba the Lion. It was like a combination of Kimba the Lion and Hamlet. And we all know how big Lion King is.
we have a Inuyasha first anime. We have
Oh man. Let me just say with Inuyasha it was actually even before Death Note, Inuyasha, I loved coming home and watching that because it was just so much different than anything I've ever seen. And that's why I liked it because there was all these like Pokemon, there was Dragon Ball Z, but Inuyasha was like dark, it was cool, and I mean compared to some of these anime, like I wouldn't put it up there, but at the time, like that showed me the power of anime. Inuyasha was definitely a cool show when I was growing up.
Yeah, we Tyler confirmed. He gave us a fact quote here that says that 1988 film Akira scenes are definitely featured in the song Stronger. Yeah, absolutely. We had someone else comment. Studio Ghibli, Soul Maka. Yeah, Studio Ghibli. I love it. I love Studio Ghibli. I rewatch those movies all the time, especially My Neighbor Totoro, Castle in the Sky, Howl's Moving Castle. I rewatch them like if I'm feeling down or something, I watch those movies and I really feel better because there's something universal that Miyazaki is able to convey. The way he portrays nature, the way he portrays human relationships, it really like speaks to some universal goodness about humanity. It makes you optimistic, it makes you positive. Now, there are exceptions, obviously darker films like Grave of the Fireflies
Oh God,
that,
so good.
that are
So
depressing, but they're still
yeah,
good because they bring out
they
that
capture
humanity.
that.
They
Yeah.
show you how horrible war is, right? So people sometimes glorify war and things like that, but if you watch Grave of the Fireflies and then think about war and think about the good guys and bad guys and think about who suffers most in the end.
Yeah.
Like that is a film that teaches you something, man. Like,
And
wow.
even talking about theories, like we've been talking a lot about theories. Like I've literally written papers in my English degree about anime all the time, including Death Note, including High School of the Dead, even, and including Grave of the Fireflies. And I mean, there's so much to anime, even like a seemingly mindless anime like High School of the Dead that you can actually get from it. And that's one of the reasons like I love it. It's not like I'd be doing that with like I don't know, Dragon Ball Z, but Dragon Ball Z is good too.
Vissermar asks when this will finish. We'll be done in about 5 minutes, bro. We're gonna be wrapping it up in about 5 minutes. You guys have been amazing in the chat. By the way, if anybody is new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. We do stuff like this all the time. We do a weekly live stream called Rant Cafe, where we have a bunch of guests from other YouTubers, and we discuss different themes in anime. This coming week on Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we're discussing the best and worst of 2016 in anime and looking forward to the future. I definitely, if you guys want to see more streams like this, talking about theories like Code Geass, like Full Metal Alchemist or something, Steins Gate, someone mentioned Steins Gate. That's an interesting show full of theoretical stuff that we could explore, we can do more streams like this too. Like, let me know, because I would love to. I have a great time. I really appreciate all the awesome comments you guys have been leaving, helping me out, forming these theories, helping me make better videos for you. So, you know, maybe even before every major video that has, you know, theories and things like that that's going to be going on, we could have a stream like this if you guys are interested, and brainstorm and create a better video, create better content. So yeah, let me know definitely what you think. What about you, Goes, and what are your thoughts on this stream and how?
No, I think it was awesome, and the fact that, like, you know, for 2 hours we just kept getting consistent comments, and, like, you know, hard to even keep up sometimes. So it was amazing. Thank you guys so much. I mean, the dream is to be able to discuss anime whenever we want, and you guys are making that happen. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, Dark Flames says ecchi anime is actually good. It depends which ecchi anime, because yeah, I would agree. High School of the Dead is cool. High School of the Dead is like one of those, like, yeah, I want to watch this guilty pleasure kind of.
Exactly. Yeah.
It messes with genres. It's like completely counterintuitive. It's like
it's hilarious too.
Horror plus ecchi. Yeah, it's funny, very funny comedy. But there's also ecchi that's like, you know, it's like the plot is just weak, right? The plot is just not, it doesn't draw you in.
Fun of itself. High School of the Dead is making fun of itself. That's like the main thing. But if it's taking itself seriously and it just has like a terrible story and just ecchi is not gonna save it. But ecchi, you know, is a good seasoning if it's already a good anime like Code Geass.
Yeah, like Code Geass has a lot of like ecchi, but like done in like a way where that's not the main focus. For example, like a show like Girls Bravo, if you guys have seen that, it is funny. There's funny moments, but it's also, I feel like, it doesn't really, it's never going to be one of my favorites. It's never going to draw me in with the plot that much. It's a little too naive, right? It's a little too fantasy-ish. Like, oh, this useless guy who's allergic to girls has all these girls in love with him. He's not good at anything. He's not strong. He offers nothing, and yet they all love him. Why? Kind of like, so that kind of stuff kind of jars me. Like with Code Geass, like obviously it's different. Code Geass, it has some harem stuff, but like, I mean, Lelouch is an amazing character. It's not, the focus is not on the harems. We have some ecchi, but you know, it's done in a way that it's like, oh yeah, this is cool, but this is not the focus. There's a great plot. There's all these theories that we're talking about right now, right? That a great anime is one that makes you have these talks, like that allows us to have this live stream where we talk about all these different things, whether it's Gurren Lagann or Code Geass or Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood or Steins Gate.
Or Girls Bravo.
Yeah, Girls Bravo will not, you're not going to have a live stream talking about all the theories and mysteries of Girls Bravo.
It was one of the first animes I watched, to be fair, so it does hold a special place, even though I know it's not a good anime, but just because it was one of the first ones I watched, along with Chobits too, but Chobits has hilarious parts too.
Oh, Chobits, I would say, is not like, yeah, that Chobits is one of the best comedy animes ever. Like the ecchi is not even that much. Like there's some, but I feel like the comedy is really what sets Chobits apart. Like that's a top-notch anime.
But then it starts taking itself seriously too. But yeah, like the comedic parts throughout are hilarious. It's like Clannad, where it's not really primarily a comedy, but the comedy moments are amazing. Hilarious.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and thanks again, guys, for coming into the chat. There's so many people. There's over 30 people at one time. Like, amazing comments, amazing feedback. We'd love to do this again soon for Code Geass again and for other animes. So give us some recommendations. Be sure, again, once again, if some of the theories that we talked about that you remember that you really want included in the video, the next coming video, put them in the comments once this stream is done and the video is up. YouTube will upload it by itself. Put it in the comments because it's going to be very interesting to see. Like, I don't want to miss anything. I want to have them all there so that I can point to them in the video. Depends how many we get. If we get a lot of them, I might not be able to use them all, but I'm going to do my best to kind of incorporate all the best, all the most interesting, all the wildest, all the craziest. And so, yeah, be sure to leave them in the comments. I have some notes, so I've taken some stuff down already. But in case I miss something, leave them in the comments. And yeah, so that we can go into it. We're still getting amazing comments in those 2 videos on Code Geass. Like, it's hard to keep up with them. Today, we got a comment by a guy that's like an essay. He's like, you make some good points, but here are my points, and I think that you have some issues in your argument. And it's like, I haven't even had time to read it because it was like an essay. I was preparing for this stream, and I was like, whoa. So, yeah, there's so much to talk about. I can't wait to get to that, to read that. And, yeah, thanks a lot, guys. This was awesome. All hail
Thanks so
Lelouch.
much, guys.
We have some all hail Lelouch again. All hail Lelouch.
Good.
I agree 100%. Let's hope that the new season is going to be awesome, that they're going to hire good writers. Like, as a writer myself, I feel like hiring good writers is key, because you can have amazing animation and action sequences like in Akito the Exiled, but it's just the plot doesn't make sense. The characters don't make sense. You don't know what drives them, what motivates them. That is a big problem. You can't enjoy the anime fully if it's not written well. So let's hope that they get good writers like the ones in
Yeah,
the first,
for the
and
first
second
season. Yeah.
and that they continue it, make it appealing, make it interesting, raise the stakes in a way that really like keeps us drawn in. And I think an anime like this being brought back for a third season could really do a lot for the anime industry, because a lot of people who might have stopped watching anime because they don't like all the ships and moe and stuff are like, whoa, Code Geass. I watched this, when I was younger. I'm gonna give this a shot again. And it's like, oh, whoa. If it's good, then they might go back and watch the second season of Mushishi and other stuff, and then slowly
They're back
the
in.
industry
They're back
comes
into
back. The
second
quality
gateway.
comes back. And
Yeah.
I mean, that would be, and Soul Maka, I know you're with me. I know you think that the quality has suffered. So I think that this could really be a big deal for the anime industry. It has great potential to be commercially successful and really good and interesting. And it has a loyal fan base. And yeah, I really look forward to it. I'm super excited. And more videos are coming, because I can't wait to make more videos. And I really appreciate that you guys came today to help me make better videos in the future, because talking with you helps a lot. You make me think of things I've never thought of in the future, I never thought of before. And yeah, it's just such a pleasure. It's a privilege to be able to chat with you guys. Thank you. Gozen, final words.
Thanks, guys. You've been awesome. And make sure to check out all our awesome Code Geass videos. Until next time, see you, Space Cowboys.
Yeah, and we had Harry Patterson say, all hail Anime Uproar. Thank you, buddy. Anime Uproar, we're going to keep going, keep doing that uproar. Briggs, thank you for coming.
Yeah, Briggs, thanks for trying, and you've been awesome in the chat too.
Yeah. Briggs All Day Anime tried to be with us in the stream, but he was having technical difficulties, but he still showed up, even though, of course, it's Christmas Eve. He still showed up. He was in the chat being awesome. Thank you, bro. We appreciate it. Merry Christmas again to everyone celebrating. Happy New Year. Although we'll talk again before then. Rant Cafe next week is before New Year. If you want to come, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, just awesome. Thanks to everyone who made it out. Thanks to Gozen, who's out of town but made it out. Thanks to Briggs. And yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year and happy holidays. I think Hanukkah begins today, so happy Hanukkah if you celebrate Hanukkah. Yeah, awesome.
See you guys. Thank you.
Until next time, let's do it again. See ya, Space Cowboys.